What are some things that have truly made your life better? They could be really small things, they could be really big things. They could be habits, actions, purchases, physical items, process, a way of thinking. We all have these things, but I feel like we don't share them enough with each other. So I'm going to share with you today the 9 things that have up-leveled and upgraded my life. Number 1, dollar cost averaging. For those of you not familiar, very simply put, dollar cost averaging is when you buy the same amount of stock or cryptocurrency or some kind of financial investment at a set frequency, no matter what. You are relying on being consistent, you are relying on automating your purchases, and you are really relying on your time in the market. You are not relying on timing the market because most likely you are not an expert investor. Now, I started late, like many of us do, but I started. That was mini upgrade 1, just starting and realizing I figured out how to do this. It's not that scary and I'm seeing how beneficial this is. So I'm going to actually increase my investments slowly over time. This habit of dollar cost averaging alone helped me remove so much overwhelm and so much pressure and burden and guilt that I felt about the fact that I wasn't investing. It also proved to me that you don't need to be an expert in finance to build wealth. You just need to be consistent. Again, it's not about timing the market, it's about your time in the market. You can put in $20, you can put in $50, $100, $300. It's just about how consistent you are because that will compound over time. Now, the reason I say this was a life hack for me is 1, yes, there are the obvious reasons of the financial reward that I hope to get in the long term. But there are 2 other ways in which this resulted in me feeling like I've upgraded my life here. 1, now that I was investing in the stock market and also in cryptocurrency, I was more invested, no pun intended, in actually learning and keeping up with the market. So actually understanding what's going on with Bitcoin, understanding what the US government is doing that might impact the price of Bitcoin, what's happening with the US dollar that impact the price of crypto, understanding what's happening with a lot of the top 500 companies in the US and what are some new stocks that I might want to consider dollar cost averaging in. Like, I felt more motivated and I felt more inclined to want to understand these things. Whereas before, understanding these things didn't really have any kind of meaning and honestly didn't feel like there was any incentive. So that automatically gave me a whole lot of new knowledge that I could talk about in different conversations or in different groups that I was in. It just gave me this, I feel like it almost opened up this whole new part of my brain that was just lying dormant for so many years. So that was a huge way in which I felt like dollar cost averaging, yes, gave me the financial investments that I was looking for into my future, but it also unlocked this like pocket of knowledge that I was starting to accumulate that I could use in so many ways. All right, now the second way in which I've upgraded my life is actually through a phrase that I say to myself to this very day when I'm going through a difficult or challenging situation or tough time in life, okay? This phrase, not coined by me, I heard it somewhere a couple of years ago and it struck me like a chord. It is stuck with me since the moment I heard it, okay? And that is when you're going through a tough time, sitting in your car, you're crying, you're in your bed, you can't sleep, like whatever it is, you say to yourself, this is character development. And if you can say it out loud, even better. I think you need to try this for yourself because I cannot really explain, for me at least, why this works and how effectively it has worked. I've tried to figure out why it's been so effective. Maybe it's something to do with the fact that the word character just speaks so deeply about like who you are at your core. It speaks so much more than just you're gonna grow through this difficult time you're having or you're gonna come out stronger on the other side. Like those things just don't hit in the same way. But when you talk about your character literally changing and evolving and building and growing when you're going through a tough time, I don't know, try it. That's all I'm gonna say for this one. Next time you are in a shitty situation, just say to yourself, this is character building. Close your eyes if you can and say it to yourself like quite assertively. I don't know what it is, but it works. I've done it so many times and most recently, maybe like a couple of months ago, and actually, no, probably even last week, I said this to myself. I say it in mostly like bigger situations, or I think about this idea of building my character in more bigger, more meatier, challenging situations. Another take on this quote that I say to myself is, I am building the character that I asked for. And I probably love this even more than the original quote, because the mindset that I have here, which is really the thing that has like upgraded and up-leveled my life, is every time I go through something difficult, I use it as a way to remind myself that something needs to go wrong, something needs to break, something needs to not happen in the way that I expect, because I need to build something that I don't currently have, or learn how to lose something that I currently have expectation of the thing that I'm trying to get to, or an expectation of the person that I'm meant to be. You can't have things stay the same if you have other aspirations for yourself and for your life. So when things are feeling like they are crumbling, that's actually really good, because they are crumbling to allow you to experience that crumble, because that is going to help develop you into the person or the character that you should be, because it's not you right now who's going to live that life that you want. It's actually this other version of you, or this like other identity of you, and you need to get to that point. So like whatever situation is happening to you, it is happening to you for the right reason and for a good reason. And when you it's hard to remember that when you're going through it, but when you're in the moment, just say to yourself, I'm building the character that I asked for. Try it. Comment back on this video if that works for you, because I tell you it has not failed me until today. Okay, now the third way in which I have upgraded and up-leveled my life is one that won't be new to many of you if you follow me, but it is a joint Notion board with my husband. I talk about Notion all the time. Notion is quite literally my entire digital life, but the real upgrade I wanted to talk about today is the joint board with my husband that we have been using now for, I want to say, about 3 years, and it has made us like merging our lives together seamless, beautiful. It's made it fun, organize, and deal with life admin and even fun things. It's made it even more fun, at least for me. It sounds like a small thing. Okay, you have a little digital Kanban board to manage your life, but no, seriously, it has changed the way in which we run our life. Everything from our wedding planning to paying bills to purchasing our property and figuring out how we want to set up our house to fun activities we want to do together to planning our trips. It's all there in one place. We also do regular check-ins on our Notion board, and it's kind of like just a forcing function that makes us ensure we're on the same page about all the things that need to be done or the things that we want to do, and I don't know, like minor conflict about have you done this or have you done that and where is this at. Like really, if you think about it, life, especially with someone else, is like a freaking long, big project, and then you have lots of little projects throughout your life, and you're on a team, right? This is a great analogy. You're literally on a team and you're building something together. You need a way to be on the same page, know what you're working towards. We put our goals in there as well, like our combined goals, so we have an understanding of what we're both working towards. I feel like it just reduces these small tensions that build up over time when you don't have a way to be on the same page. Now, for some people, this could be literally like a calendar that you stick on your fridge. Totally fine. Maybe for others, it's literally just a Google Calendar. We do that as well in combination with our Notion board. But for us, we are always trying to do a lot in different areas of our life, and we also have lots of things that we would like to do that we just want to get out of our brain but not forget about. And yeah, that's kind of how it all started, but it has been an absolute game changer, because either of us knows at any point in time, if we need like the source of truth for anything that's happening in life for us at the moment, it's go to the Notion. It's also, by the way, if you make it fun, it becomes a really nice memory. We usually, like before we close a Notion card, we put a photo of the thing that we did together or the activity or whatever the specific thing is. If it's relevant, we'll put a photo in there. And then, you know, we might go look back at it one day and it'll be really cool to see this thing that we did way back when, how we tracked it to completion, and the photo that we stuck on there. So don't knock it until you try it. It is life-changing. Link to Notion below if you're interested to try. All right, now the fourth way in which I have upgraded my life is by dumping down my thoughts on paper regularly, consistently, or as often as I possibly can. Now, as much as I am a digital planner, writing my thoughts and my feelings and just random clutter that's in my brain, it doesn't have the same effect doing it digitally. And I have tried. There is something so therapeutic about putting pen to paper and decluttering your mind. I did not realize how powerful this was because I probably like didn't even realize how much clutter was in my mind until I started doing this. And although I can't quite tell you what this does for me, I can tell you that when I don't do it, I feel a difference to when I do it consistently. You know, sometimes I will write lists. Sometimes I'll write like a full-blown rant. Sometimes like I write brainstorms. I just stumbled upon a page where I did this thing called an excitement brainstorm, and it was things that excite me. I've done another brainstorm which is an expansive brainstorm, and these are things that make me feel energetically expanded. I've done, you know, just lists of being grateful. I've done reflections. I've done monthly reviews, like anything and everything. It just depends on what I feel like. The whole point of this is for it not to be well thought out. The point of it is to literally be a dump. But as someone who, you know, has never been a big journal, has never had a diary or anything like that, this has been such a powerful tool for me, and I think everyone should try it. Even if you are not someone who reads or writes or is reflective, like I think you should try this. Me personally, I think this has been really important because if you're like me, you carry around a lot of mental load and a lot of mental clutter, and your brain is foggy and filled with all of the things you want to do and you want to do right now. This is something I do really struggle with because I'm constantly trying to do more and achieve more and plan more, and I don't often realize the negative consequence that is having on my current day, on my current reality. And if I don't get it out, then I really feel that mental clutter. But when I do get it out, I feel as light as a feather, and there has to be some science to that. So if you know it, let me know what it is in the comments below. But huge life upgrade. Don't overthink it. Doesn't even matter where you write it. You can even write it down and throw it away. I think that in itself is probably even more therapeutic. Morning pages, I believe it's called. But yeah, huge life upgrade, just dumping things onto a piece of paper. Number 5, upgraded my life. I've spoken about it in a previous couple of videos, but it's having a career coach. Now I don't have one anymore. I had one for about a couple of years ago, but so incredibly powerful to have someone who is essentially like a therapist, but for your career. Especially now, like in 2025, the rapid change we are seeing so many industries and roles and career paths go through. I can't imagine a career coach being more needed, to be honest, now than ever before. I found myself going to a career coach very unexpectedly. I did not even know a career coach was a thing. I ended up finding someone in my LinkedIn network who I had previously worked with many, many years ago, explained that she was a career coach. I was in a time of desperation, feeling the most lost I've ever felt in my entire career, and it had really kind of started to bleed into my personal life as well. And we worked through it together over the course of many months. But I feel like we often go to a lot of our friends, personal, like people in our personal lives for career things and work things, whether it's just venting your frustrations or, you know, trying to figure out what it is that you should do. And I think having that impartial person for your career decisions or career thoughts or career blabbings is really valuable. Things that my career coach did with me that I did not expect were, we went through a lot of activities together and we went through a lot of exercises together. It wasn't just me talking at her. It wasn't just me talking about how I was feeling. We actually did a lot of practical tasks, which helped me to think about things in a different way. It helped her to understand what I was experiencing in a different way. It helped her to challenge me, but also like for me to challenge me and the thoughts I was having, the feelings I was having about my work and my situation that I was in. It gave me a sounding board. It gave me an accountability partner as well, because a career coach for me wasn't just about talking about my feelings or my frustrations. It was also, hey, these are the things I'm trying to get done. These are the things I'm trying to achieve. And these are the barriers I feel like I'm having to getting there. Let's set up a system and see if you can help me achieve these things, you know, every single week. And I'll come back to you and I'll share with you how I went and like things like that. So I feel like you won't even know that you need a career coach, but if you're ever at a point where you feel like you don't know who to go to talk to about career things, look up a career coach. Now, the 6th thing that has upgraded my life is a really simple one, and that is not using my phone as an alarm clock and actually using an alarm clock. So, game changer is what I can say. This is one of those things where I don't think you realize the impact your phone is having on you. I mean, generally speaking, it's having a lot of impact on you, but specifically when it's waking you up and it's the first thing you are reaching for. It's right next to your bed. You might even look at it in the middle of the night. The first thing you see is your calendar or a flood of messages messages or notifications or whatever it is. Even if you don't see it, you know that this device is leading you to that. This tiny change of using an alarm clock rather than my phone as my alarm has me feeling more grounded, way more intentional. It also has me feeling slightly more peaceful, slightly less anxious when I wake up. And it has me actually feeling like I'm creating a separation between my physical life and my digital life. I think it's also just a way to create a barrier between like the place you sleep, the place that is for rest, and that device, which is really where like your entire life kind of operates in this day and age. Try it. I think it's hugely underrated, but I think it's so incredibly valuable. And I think so many people are now gravitating towards traditional, simple technology rather than just having everything on your phone. I think it's also just a way to create a barrier between like the place you sleep, the place that is for rest, and device, which is really where like your entire life kind of operates in this day and age. Try it. I think it's hugely underrated, but I think it's so incredibly valuable. And I think so many people are now gravitating towards using more traditional, simple technology rather than just having everything on your phone. Life upgrade number 7, physical books. This is probably an obvious one. I don't think I need to explain it. This was an upgrade for me, and I actually flipped on a previous upgrade that I thought I may have had in life. Okay, so I am an audiobook fanatic, a podcast fanatic. I was obsessed with the idea of being able to be so incredibly productive that I could multitask, that I could learn and listen while I was doing something else. And yes, in theory, this is amazing when you're out for a walk or maybe when you're cleaning. You chuck something on, you learn something, maybe you listen to something that's entertaining, you get some value, and you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. In recent months, actually not even years, in recent months, I think the way that we are constantly trying to multitask, how much we're trying to constantly do is actually at a huge detriment to ourselves and to us actually being in this present moment. And I realized that I was obsessed with the idea of achieving and doing multiple things at once because of how productive it seemingly sounded. I was more obsessed with that rather than actually wanting to go on a walk and listen to my book at the same time, or clean and listen to my book at the same time. And also I realized that I could no longer focus on reading a damn physical book. And when I realized I could not actually get my brain to sit and read a physical book anymore, that's the thing that really scared me. And I realized how much I needed that quiet time. So the physical book one is multifaceted in terms of why it's a life upgrade, but a brain upgrade, future-proofing my life and my brain upgrade is kind of what it feels like. It feels like a very important one, and there's probably many other ways in which you could achieve a similar outcome. I think physical books is just one of them. Yeah, it's like a ritual now. It's, I go on walks with no audio, no music, sometimes no phone, or if I do have the phone, I try not to look at it. And when I'm reading, I'm just reading. And it's usually the only part of my day that I get to detox from some kind of digital device, because if I'm not on my camera, if I'm not on my laptop, if I'm not watching TV, if I'm not on my phone, if I'm not on a freaking Zoom call, like whatever it might be, there's no other opportunity actually apart from when I'm writing in this or when I'm reading a physical book to be off a device. Life upgrade 8 is actually kind of related to life upgrade 7, and that is just not consuming all the time. Very much hand in hand with the physical books, but yeah, like I said, I don't have to fill every single gap in my day with consuming. And again, I think for me, this idea stemmed from let's use every hour and minute of every single day to learn, to be entertained, to get some kind of value, because we can, because we have that ability now. But do I need noise in my ears 24/7? Absolutely not. Because when I don't have noise in my ears and in my brain is actually when I feel most creative. And I realize that the more I'm constantly consuming, the less my brain is able to create and, connect the dots and get its own creative juices flowing, which actually has a hugely negative impact on me, which I only realized recently is when I'm often feeling in a slump, it's because I'm not being creative. I'm not coming up with ideas. I'm just passively listening to someone else's. And I think the key to that is to actually just cut off some of those things and have complete quiet time. Okay, and number 9, last but definitely not least, 9th life upgrade, up leveling. It's a major one, and it's marathon training. Now, notice I'm saying marathon training, not actually running a marathon. And that is because marathon training is a deeply physical, mental, but also like time-wise commitment and like discipline. Committing to something for, I don't know, 4 to 6 months or however long you're training for. I did about 4 to 5 months. Taught me so much about, one, being able to start and finish something. 2, being able to be disciplined enough to say no to the things that weren't going to help me meet that goal. Showing up when I did not want to. Keeping myself accountable. Actually keeping a promise to myself. It wasn't just about the running. It wasn't just about getting that medal at the end of it. It was, I've told myself that I want to run a marathon one day and I'm going to do it. And it just changed how I see myself. I actually happen to have my marathon mug right here. But every time I go through something difficult, or every time I think about something that I want to achieve, when I realize that I trained for and ran a marathon, it's almost like there is no other task that is as difficult. Once you can put your body and your mind through that, I almost feel like you can do anything. And this is a life upgrade for me because it's a mental hack. If you've done something before that's so incredibly freaking hard, why can you not do it again? Of course you can. You've already got that under your belt. It's always hard the first time you do it. This is not to say the second marathon I do is going to be easy, no, but I know I've done it before, so I can do it again. And when I think about presenting something at work, and then I compare that to running 20 kilometers after work one day, not the same, but one is definitely harder than the other. And again, it's the upgrade here is just that mental hack. It's that little like boost of confidence you have in your pocket that you've done this thing before, that majority of people that you know now and ever will not do it. And if that is not a confidence hack, then I don't know what is, right? And that is it for the 9 ways in which I feel like I have upgraded and up-leveled my life in recent years. I was going to sprinkle in number 10, but I think I have talked for long enough. I think I have many more I can share though, so please let me know in the comments if you want me to do a part 2. Please share some of your life upgrade things, whether it's, again, purchases, ways of thinking, a mindset, phrases, quotes, like whatever it is, however big or small it is. Actually, I feel like the smaller the better. Share them because I want to try new ones. I'm always looking to incorporate more. And if you want me to do, like a part 2, or if you would like me to do, categorized one, so one focus on wellness, one focus on career, I'd be happy to do that as well. I feel like I have a bucket load of these to share. But if you got this far, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.